Okay, last page of the practice test, and there's a lot of information on this page. I tried to give you all of these equations over to the side to help you, and I'll be referring to them when we do this. Remember, you're going to take this in my classroom. So if you are down in my classroom, this is all on the linear equation word wall, so it will all be right in front of you, so this will all be given to you tomorrow during the test. Okay, so let's start with the first one. It says a line includes the points -4 and 5 and 3 and 8. Find the slope of the line. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2, just so I make sure that I'm doing it right. I'm going to use this equation right here in order to find my slope. So I got a lot of negatives in this problem, so I'm actually going to get my calculator, which I thought was right next to me. Okay, I'll get that calculator there. Let's see if it shows up. Oh, it does. So we can kind of show you how I do these on the calculator because negative numbers, as everybody knows, vexes me. So we're going to set this up first. Our y's first, -8 minus 5 over our x's, 3 minus parentheses -4. Now if you're good and you recognize that these two negatives means it's a plus, awesome, do it that way. I am not like that. I really struggle with this, so I have to do it point by point. I'm going to do my y's up here first, so I'm going to go -8 minus 5. It's going to give me -13 over, and then I'm going to go 3 minus parentheses -4. Let the calculator do the work for me, and the answer is 7. And that's my answer. Right there. No worries. Okay. I'm going to move this up a little. I'm going to take the calculator away for a sec because I want to get the equations in the sheet. There we go. And so we're going to have to do that. So number 9, or wait, first of all, sorry, we're going to 8. Line Q includes the points -5, 4. Hopefully I changed it on the one you have. Use 4. It's a better number for this equation. And -2, -8. Write an equation for line Q in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form right here, y equals mx plus b. So the first thing I have to do is find my slope. So again, we're going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to do it way over here. I'm going to go -8 minus 4 over -2 minus parentheses -5. Wow, that's a lot of minuses. Okay, let's come up here. -8 minus 4 equals -12. Okay, now I'm going to do all my negatives on the bottom. -2 minus parentheses -5, and I get a 3. +3. Now, the best thing to always do in these situations to make sure that it's reduced down is I make it a fraction, parentheses -12 divided by 3, and it gives me -4. That's just a way for me to check my work. So that's my slope. Okay, that's just the first part of that equation. The second part is we've got to find the b. So I'm going to take one of the points. It doesn't matter. You can take point this, you can take this point. It doesn't matter which one you take. You just have to take one of them to find the b and substitute it in for the x and the y. So I'm just going to take the first one. 4 equals, because we're going to do y equals mx plus b. So my y is 4. Okay. My m is -4 times my -5 plus b, because that's what I'm trying to find. 4 equals, I'm going to do negative 4, I think it's going to be 20, but I'm going to just double check because I don't like negatives. It is 20 plus b, okay. And then what I'm going to do is, I gotta bring it up here a little bit, I'm going to subtract that 20 to the other side, or equals 20 plus b minus 20 minus 20. My b is going to equal negative 16. Kind of a crazy b, but that's what I got. So now I've got my b, now I have my m. Remember, my x and y always change because it's a line, so I'm just going to substitute in the b and the m. So I'm going to say y equals negative 4, that's my m, x minus 16, that's my b. Wasn't a lot of room to do that problem, but I hope that makes a good explanation for that. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's go down a little. A computer programmer charges $45 an hour for a coding project, plus a startup fee of $50. For 5 hours of work, the programmer charges, oops, I missed my little dollar sign there, $275. So, the slope is the startup fee. Therefore, the slope is, if we read the problem, the slope is 50. It says right in the problem, no fancy, like, formula work needed. It tells us right in the program. And then it says the points on the line can be written as 5, 275. Which point is the x value and which point is the y value? X is always first, y is always second. It's always alphabetical order. So x equals 5, y equals 275. Yay. Oh, this problem says write this scenario in point slope form, which is this last one down here. And as you have heard me say all week, my favorite of the linear equations, because I only need the slope and I only need 1 point. So y minus y1 means the y1, we substitute that in from a point. So we keep the y minus, our y is 275, equals, then it wants our m, our slope, 50, parentheses, x plus our 5 right here. And we're done. We don't have to do anything else. It just wants you to write it in point slope form. So it's y minus 275 equals 50x plus 5. Done. It's the best linear equation of the linear equations. Which brings us to our intercepts, which is everybody's Alamo every year. Everyone gets real frustrated with the intercepts, but they're really not that hard. I get some different colored pens to do it because I find that helps. Okay. I put over here to the sides of the intercepts. If you're finding the y-intercept, let x equals 0 to solve for y. So x equals 0. So we are actually going to take this equation and we're going to work with it twice. We're going to manipulate it in 2 different scenarios. So, finding our x-intercept, we're going to let x equals 0. So I'm going to look at this and I'm going to go 5 times 0 minus 3y equals 12. 5 times 0 is 0, so we can get rid of that. And now we're just solving for y. 5 by 3, 5 by 3, y is going to equal negative 4. So our y-intercept, we put x in, or 0 in for x, we just solved for y, negative 4. Boom, done. But now we have to go up and we have to do the next equation. We use the same equation, but now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to find the x-intercept, so we're going to let the y be 0. So I'm going to go 5x minus 3 times 0 equals 12. Well, again, boom, negative 3 times 0 is 0. So that gives us 5x equals 12. Divide by 5, divide by 5. Your x is going to be like a funky decimal. That's okay. 2.4. So our y was 0. So over here we're going to have 2.40. Those are our x-intercepts. I think the hardest part about doing this is knowing that you have to manipulate that equation twice. You have to manipulate that equation twice. Hey, look at that, we're almost done. Last question. This is going to say to write this in standard form on, not or, on a line that includes -1, 3, and 2, -4. So again, we're going to have to find the slope. How many times in my life, Miss Rooney, am I going to have to find slope? And the answer is forever, forever. In physical science and in algebra, you're always finding slope. So, again, label x1, y1, x2, y2. Let's set it up. I always write the equation. Been doing this for a long time. You'd think I'd know it by now. I do. It just helps me. Okay, so now I'm going to go -2 minus 3 over 4 minus, I'm going to do my parentheses -1 because Miss Rooney doesn't do negative numbers. So let's do this. We're going to go -2 minus 3 equals -5 over 4 minus parentheses -1, 5. And we know this is going to reduce to a -1. If you don't know that, if you don't look at that and see it, throw it into the calculator. -5 divided by 5, boom, -1. Okay, you're going to come to school tomorrow and say, Miss Rooney, don't say boom. That really makes you sound old. That's okay. I'm comfortable with that explanation. Okay, so we're doing standard form. So the easiest thing to do next is to write this in point slope form because now we have our m. Okay, so we're going to take one of these. It doesn't matter. They both have negatives. So I'm going to go with the first one. Y minus 3 equals -1 x. Now you can do, in this case, you can do it minus -1, do the double parentheses, or recognize that that's going to be a plus. Y minus 3 equals -1 x plus 1. They are both right. Okay, now you have to get this in y-intercept form. So the next thing you have to do is distribute. Multiplying, you're multiplying here. So we have y minus 3 equals -1x minus 1, because -1 times 1 is -1. Now I need to move this 3 plus 3 plus 3. Y equals -1x. Negative numbers. -1 plus 3, 2. I just like to check my work. Okay? Y, but now it's standard form. Standard form's up here. Can you see it? Bring it down. Standard form's up here. You need your x's and y's on the same side. So you're almost done. You're going to take this -1 and you're going to add it. 1x plus 1x. Miss Rooney, what are you doing to me? We'll bring it over here. Because now you have x or 1x, it doesn't matter, plus y equals 2. Because these crossed out. And that's your answer, and that's your quiz. I will be here in the morning if you have any questions, but I hope that helped. Or hopefully it didn't make it more confusing. Look at your reteaches, look at this practice quiz, and I will see you tomorrow.